Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Regen auf mein Kopf. Hinter der Deckel muss es die kleine Fahrt im Topf. Geht mir kein Sach mit.
Welcome to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I am your host, Judy Gold, and we have a very special episode this week. I was in Los Angeles in May to be a part of the Netflix is a Joke Festival, and it was a cavalcade of comedians. That's where I shot my standout special with all the other great LGBTQ plus comedians. And I had the opportunity to sit at the pool at the W Hotel and interview a couple of comics who I just adore, Chris Mancini and James Mattern. And I hadn't seen Chris in a while because he's one of these comics that we went on the road together, and that's a bond you'll always have, even if you don't see the person for 10 years. And James Mattern is one of my favorite comedians in New York City. He's one of the best hosts, MCs there is, which is, as I've mentioned multiple times, the hardest job and the most important job on a show. So I got to speak with Chris, and then James came by, and we had a delightful conversation. So I hope you enjoy. By the way, if you're near Cape Cod, I begin my shows this weekend, the 24th and 25th at the Art House, and then again the following weekend. And I'd love to see you there. But just sit back, relax. I don't know why I say that, sit back, relax, like anyone is sitting back and relaxing while they listen to my voice. You know what I mean? The most non-relaxing voice in the entire world. Anyway, do what you're doing, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, this is an extra special episode of Kill Me Now because, first of all, I don't have my bell, but I'm going to do my bell. I have a Bell app. Now, Chris, I don't know if you've ever listened to my podcast. I doubt it because no one ever fucking listens to anyone else's podcast. We're up at the pool at the W Hotel.
It's pretty nice.
It is. Chris, you live here.
Yes, I do. I live in the hotel. I'm like the Phantom of the Opera. I just kind of haunted.
That is so.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
They saved me a seat by the pool.
And we're both hot. You know, it's amazing. There's my bell.
Yeah.
It's amazing because Chris and I have known each other. When did we meet?
It had to be over 20 years ago, at least.
Yes. Comedian, writer, producer, podcaster, author, director, father, man.
Yeah.
Man, woman, television. Yeah. What was the thing? Chris Mancini is here, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Mancini. We're on the deck of the pool at the W Hotel in Hollywood, and you know it's the Netflix is a Joke Festival right now. Mm-hmm. This isn't. I mean, it already started. Apparently, all the cool people haven't arrived because I'm here today. You know what I mean? And I'm not one of the cool people. I used to be one of the cool people in the 90s.
We just walk by the pool. It's all cool people.
Okay, so Chris and I just walked by the pool. And here's the deal. I'm 59, Chris. You're supposed to say you look great, asshole.
Yeah, you look great, asshole.
It's not fucking funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So we come up here, and it's like, I used to live here in the 90s. You know, I used to be one of these people who would sit by the pool. So we walk in, and everyone has a good body. Everyone's in show business. And then I see this really hot woman in the pool.
I know. It's like walking into Westworld.
Yeah.
It is. It's pretty much.
And there's a woman in the pool, hot, and she's talking to a gray-haired man, fat. So I'm going to go with wealthy on the gray-haired fat man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, could you ever be with someone for the money?
No. Unless it was a lot.
Like, how much is a lot?
I don't know. I haven't figured out the number, but you know what? Nah, probably not. Because you know what the thing about money is? You spend it, you get everything you want, then you're bored for the next 40 years.
No,
No.
that's not true. Okay. This is how much money I want to have, Chris. I want to have enough money where I never have to think about money. Like if I want something, I buy it.
Sure.
If, I don't need to be a billionaire. I don't need that. I just don't ever want to have to think about it or worry about it.
Yes. You want that kind of detachment and freedom of,
right.
I'm going to buy whatever I want. Whether it's a yacht or an extra coffee. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is. That was my mother. Now, Chris, you have had a very boring life. I mean, you grew up in Havertown, Pennsylvania. Then you moved to Westchester in fourth grade. Fourth grade, moving in fourth. Don't look at my notes.
Okay.
Fourth grade, moving in fourth grade, Chris, is not good.
No, it's not great. But it's not horrible.
It's 9 years old, right?
About that, yeah.
So you have no friends from prior to fourth grade, do you? That you still keep in touch with?
On Facebook, yeah. I think I have one.
From what grade? First, second, third?
Yes, all the way through. First, second, and third, because that was the Havertown.
And what does that person do?
No idea.
Right. Not friends. Okay. You went to Temple University.
Yes.
Were you there with Bill Cosby?
I was not. No.
Because he's so much younger. God, I'm so not funny in L.A. I'm so much funnier in New York. So you went to Temple.
Yes.
And you studied communications, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go with huge nerd in high school.
No.
Really?
Oh, wait. No. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
So what?
We're talking Dungeons and Dragons nerd.
Right. So you were the nerd that. Now, did you get teased? Did you get bullied?
No, that's the interesting thing. I was pretty good at talking, so the bully actually played D&D with us. So we became friends.
So, okay, I'm very fascinated by this because as someone who was called Bigfoot and Sasquatch every day of my life. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Orca. Every day of my fucking life. I mean, look at me. I'm so hot. I'm fascinated with bullying because the bullies never remember. They're like, I did. And it's like, and you remember every fucking thing. So how did you how did you approach the bully?
It was I was a little lucky in the high school. It wasn't really as cliquey as a lot of other high schools were, but it was the kind of thing where like you would go to parties, those people would go to certain parties, other people would go to certain parties, and then it was like a gradual process where we just started kind of talking and hanging out, and then it got to the point where, oh, you want to play Dungeons and Dragons? Came over, played, and then made sure, look, don't tell anybody I'm doing this.
Oh, right, yeah. Don't tell anyone I'm hanging out with you.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, but that's progress.
Right. And you took it and you were like, were you excited? There's the hot woman.
Yeah.
See how hot she is? Look at that woman. Everyone turn around. Look at that ass. That hair. She's like perfect.
Yeah.
She is with a 90-year-old fat fucking disgusting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So do you feel like you had just a normal suburban childhood? And did you have siblings?
Yes, and I had one brother. I still had. I have one brother.
Older or younger? I'm going to sneeze.
Younger. 6 years younger. Bless you.
So, oh, shit.
And you look great, by the way, for your age. Is it too late? Can I not do it now?
Well, I feel like you doing it now it's like took you that long to think, oh my God, she's going to be dead soon.
Yeah.
Wait, there's the guy. There's the guy with the woman. Like she's attracted to him.
Isn't that the guy from those liquor commercials? The most interesting man in the world?
I don't know. We're doing this so so the listeners feel like they're in LA with us.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so you have a younger brother who's 6 years younger. Was he cool?
He was, but when you have that much of an age difference, you don't really hang out as much.
So he didn't have to clean up your shit. Like,
no.
Oh, that's Chris's brother. Chris is such a fucking weirdo. So he didn't. So was he like more in the not Dungeons and Dragons, but more, football or music or
he was definitely into other things. Yeah, he didn't get the D&D bug that I.
So do you get along with him?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you're Italian.
Yes.
Both parents Italian?
Both parents Italian.
Wow. Food growing up.
The royal flush.
Yeah.
It's the food was, as expected, very basic East Coast Italian food. Spaghetti.
Really?
Meat
Sauce. Now,
sauce, yeah.
I grew up in an Italian Jewish neighborhood.
Mhm.
The sauce is very important.
Oh, it's the heart, not of the meal, of the family.
Right.
Yeah.
So everyone has their own sauce. And one time, I had this friend in high school. And one time, he came out to me as gay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was the hardest thing he ever had to do. And the second hardest thing was he made me swear on my life. He couldn't believe he was telling me, it was such a secret, that his mother, for her sauce, as the base, used ragu. And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm telling you. Like, it was like the same as coming out.
Oh, you would get the Italian version of shunning for that.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
Now, did your mother use a prego or a ragu, or did she get the tomatoes?
She actually didn't make the sauce that much. My mom didn't really cook that much. However, my grandmother, unbelievable.
Oh, really?
Unbelievable. It was like everything from scratch. We had the...
Whose mother is that? Your
that's
father's?
my father's mom. Yeah. Chicken parmesan, but also veal cutlets, but super, super old school, where she would actually soak them in milk overnight to get them like extra tender. Pizzelles, reds.
Okay, that is
stars.
so not kosher.
Yeah.
But wait, let me just press my bell. I ring a bell every time I say something Jewy, but then keeps. There we go. Your grandmother must have hated your mother for not cooking. Is that true?
She found it a little odd, like
she probably yelled at your father. What are you marrying her for? She doesn't cook.
So
you're never gonna eat.
Yeah. So when my grandmother would come and visit, she would literally cook for like almost the entire time.
And did your mother hate it or liked it?
Well, it was less my mom had to do, so I think she might have complained, but I think she secretly liked it.
That's fascinating. I mean, yeah, my mother and grandmother cooked together a lot. Okay, so you grew up, nothing major happened to you as a child that was traumatic. I mean, I did some research on you.
Yeah.
Very normal.
Well, I was in an airplane crash, but other than that, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. You moved to LA in your mid-20s.
Yes, I lived in Philly.
You lived in Philly. That's where you went to college with Bill Cosby.
Yes.
What do you think of the fact that they have disavowed the serial rapist predator?
I'm for it. Yeah,
I am for it too.
Yes.
But wasn't he like the graduate of Temple?
Here's the thing, like for the PR,
Temple.
for the PR, it was always like, Bill Cosby, Temple and stuff. But when you went to Temple, it was not a big deal. It was an honorary degree. Nobody cared. So it was more for like, the PR of outside of Temple that it meant anything.
And plus, he gave them a lot of money.
So, yeah.
But not as much as the women that he raped while they were unconscious. He gave them more money. You are pretty much a professional nerd.
Yes.
And comedians, although people think we're cool, we are all fucking nerds. But you've taken the nerddom to a whole other level. Now,
I've certainly tried.
Things that fascinate me about you. One thing, you directed and produced soap operas. Is that correct?
I wrote them.
So you wrote them, and this is an interview that I read, and they said you directed and produced it.
Yeah.
Which soap operas did you read, and did you write, and what the fuck?
I wrote on Port Charles, which was a spin-off of General Hospital.
Oh my God. I loved General Hospital so much when I was in high school. High school and then college, because Luke and Laura got married my freshman year of college. And it was like I can't fucking believe I watched this stupid fucking soap opera. But I actually appeared on a couple of soap operas. And I used to think they made so much money because the actors would make like $3,000 a day or something like that.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God. I'm still kind of like, oh my God, that's fine with me. But how the fuck do you write a soap opera? And they have to learn those fucking lines.
Oh, yeah.
overnight.
It's literally it's an assembly line,
Right.
Really, because you have a show that you're producing literally every single day. So they have a large team of writers, and I got the job.
Like how many writers are in a? And is there a writer's room?
There is, but there's like multiple writers' room because you have what are called breakdown writers, and they actually kind of break down the story. And then you have what I was a dialogue writer. I would get the breakdown.
Oh my God, you wrote the dialogue?
I just wrote dialogue.
So there was the breakdown, which is when you write for TV, you always write an outline for every episode. That's the hardest thing to do, is to, write the outline, what is going to happen with specifics in an episode. Then you write the dialogue. Yeah. And then there's the rewriting, or was it?
Yeah, then there's rewriting, but sometimes it's such an assembly line where the head writers, whatever, you don't even rewrite. They do the rewrites for you. And I got the job, speaking of being a nerd, is I was temping at the ABC lot. I was doing tech support. And I was
God, you're the fucking IT guy?
I was.
What the fuck?
Many years ago, and I was in the head writer's office.
Wait a minute. So you worked at ABC as the tech person. Like, whose computer did you fix?
Yeah. Well, that's
like any famous people computers, or
no, it was all like the producers and behind the scenes, because the famous people aren't gonna have computer sitting there. But I was fixing the head writer's computer, and I said, "Are you looking for writers?" She goes, "I'm always looking for writers. Send me a script." So I sent them a Grace Under Fire spec. Remember that show?
Yes, and I was. A lot of people are going to be surprised too. I was the maid of honor at Brett's wedding.
Yeah.
She asked me on the way there. But yes, I was the maid of honor at Brett Butler's wedding. Okay. And so did you write on Grace Under Fire? You had just written a spec
it was just
script.
A spec. And she loved it. And then they hired me, but they put me on what's called a writing trial. So
how many weeks is that?
It was about, I think, 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. And then, but I was also still temping and doing the computer support until an executive at ABC realized it and said, "Why are we paying him twice?" Because I would be in my office, the IT office, writing the scripts for Port Charles. So they had me leave the computer job.
You got rid of the IT job?
Yes. And I was writing, and then the trial was over, and then they hired me full time.
Wait, did you write any IT dialogue? Like,
I didn't.
In the, like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. I want to fuck you, but my computer's broken. Yeah. Nothing. Okay.
And it was the best hiring and firing of any job I've gotten in Hollywood.
Was this your first job when you got here? Like, how old were you when you were doing this?
I was probably mid to late 20s. It wasn't my first job, but it was my first union writing job.
Okay. Yeah. And you're right, like, how do you write fucking dialogue? Like, what were your women? You're writing like middle-aged women, like.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They gave me they give you about like 50 scripts to read. So eventually,
I would have killed myself.
You kind of get the idea of like what they're looking for,
right?
And but this is what helped me, and then what got me in trouble. The head writer said that, look, when you write a script, I want it to be you. I want you to put your voice in it. So when I read your script, I don't even need to look at the name on the script. I'll know it's yours. So I said, okay. So I kind of made it a little funnier, made a little bit more fun dialogue. And, that went on for months. And then the head writer gets fired.
Who was the head writer?
Lynn Latham. She got fired.
Lynn Latham.
Yeah. And then the EP brings me in and says, look, we're not renewing your contract because your writing has a distinct voice. We don't want to hear it. We want all the writing to sound the same. So I got hired and fired for the same reason.
Wait. Okay. Let's review. You get hired by Lynn.
Yes.
Does she have a crush on you?
So I don't think so.
Okay. Lynn hires you. Mm-hmm. You do the trial thing.
Yeah.
And you have a unique voice.
Yes.
And then Lynn gets fired. Mm-hmm. And then they bring you in and say, we're firing you.
Yeah, they clean house of all the writers she hired. Uh-huh. That's the first time that's ever happened in Hollywood.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Before. Also, I'm looking at a topless woman now.
Now we all turned around.
Yeah. So she's putting on her. That's not a topless woman. Oh, it is. Oh, it's a trans person. Mm. Hi. Yeah. Oh God! Everyone, cancel me. I only saw the ass. Okay, and I thought it was a woman. And by the way, I get misgendered all the fucking time. I got here. I was at Flagship American Airlines. I walk up to the gate, and the woman at the gate says, "Thank you for flying with us, Mr. Gold." And usually I will misgender them back and say, "Oh, you're welcome, sir." But I said, "Mr. Gold," like seriously?
Yeah.
Like they don't even look at you; they just see a large person.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This Latham woman gave you your first writing job,
Yes.
and you got fired for having a unique voice. But can you just tell me like some of the dialogue you wrote? And why was your voice unique? Were you?
I didn't think it was that like crazy. I mean, again, it's a soap opera.
Right.
I'm not, writing crazy dialogue, but
Right.
I think because I put a few more jokes in, and I put like a couple things that were like here's the other thing too is the plots, as you know, for a soap opera are literally like a puzzle you have to figure out.
Right.
It's like there's a serial killer in Port Charles, and
Right.
they escape. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they don't want to build any more sets because where does a serial killer that escapes in Port Charles go? Back to Port Charles.
Right.
So we can kind of continue that.
Do you know you know the arcs of the storylines, or do you?
Yes. They give that stuff in
They
advance.
say we're going to get the killer,
Right,
the murderer,
right.
and it's
Mhm.
going to be blank, and you know that like 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
And was it fun, or was it just so much work?
It was both. It was a lot of work, but it was super fun because then the other thing they decided too is that this was way before COVID. Well, the dialogue writers, you guys don't really need to be at the meetings. Why don't you just work from home and email your scripts in?
Oh my God, that's
So,
great.
yes.
That's like pre-pandemic.
Yeah, and I did it on the road too. Like you and I might have been
Yeah.
doing a show, and I would go into the hotel room and then just write a Port Charles script.
And I'd be like, Chris, let's go get something to eat.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, I can't. I'm writing a fucking soap opera.
Yeah.
You wrote a book
Yes.
long ago and far away. You've written many books,
Mhm.
okay? And you did a documentary called Earbuds
Yes.
about podcasting.
hmm
Your goal, you as a kid, hi, James. Do you know Chris? Chris James?
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in a while, but yeah.
That's my boy right there. Do you want to get on?
I didn't know what was.
I don't know. I usually interview one person at a time, but I'm doing a whole I'm being different. James Mattern is here. He's just walked in. James, I love James Mattern, an excellent comedian. New album coming out called Check Spot.
Well, the album's out. The special's coming out June 3rd, baby.
Oh,
June
it's a special, but it
3rd.
was an album.
It was an album. We slow rolled it, and yeah, eventually it'll be a letter and a book and whatever, man.
You got
That's
to
great.
repurpose.
Yeah, I'm getting so much mileage out of
I
one
know.
weekend's work.
Yeah.
It's
You know
the
what's
best.
amazing?
That's
is
America.
That I am for this festival doing jokes I did in the 80s.
Oh,
Because
word.
I think they'll be really relevant right now.
Right, with everything
know,
going on, yeah.
And retro's hot right now.
Right. Retro's really hot. I'm gonna wear an outfit from the 80s.
Let's talk
What are you
about
gonna
Miss
wear?
Pac-Man.
I don't know, shoulder pads.
Yeah, let's
I'm
bring
gonna
that
cut
back.
my hair short, really short,
hmm
and I'm just gonna do jokes about, what did I talk about when I was?
Bring the curl back.
Yeah, I
right?
can bring. It's Judy's show. Okay. So Chris wrote this book.
Okay,
I don't know if you're into comics. He's into graphic novels.
absolutely. And one of the worst days of my life is when Comixology changed their format 2 months ago, and I had to stop reading comic books in the morning. As a 44-year-old man, yeah, I love comic books. So yes,
Now,
Oh, awesome.
you wrote this book. There's many themes: lost, in hopelessness. There's all this negative, but then about someone losing the enthusiasm to live, and they get this job in a comic book store. Is that
Yeah,
yes?
it's
And it and revisits. This is a theme I think all comics have. They revisit their childhood love or the
Yes.
thing that made them happy in their childhood.
hmm
I believe that great comics are children. In deep, like I think Gilbert was such a fucking child. I believe that those, the hopelessness and the lost enthusiasm, and then living in a fantasy world or just laughing, and it's such
Yep.
a coping mechanism. So the both of you are very into comic strips, which I used to read when I was a kid, but I find them. It's an interesting genre because it is like this culty little side, right?
And it could be whatever you want. Like it's a medium. Like you could have like one of the things I was doing with Long Ago and Far Away is comics could be, I thought, a lot funnier to make a long story and about a guy who went into a fantasy world as a kid, like Narnia books, and saved the world from the Witch Queen. But then now what happens when he's 30 and he's an asshole and he runs a comic book store and then he has to go back in that world again as an adult? But he figured out that like, oh, wait, what have I lost? What am I trying to regain? And it's that childlike wonder that, as we get older that we kind of lose sight of. So, and it's funny you mentioned Comixology because we tried to get it on there, but it's gone. So
what is Comixology?
So it was a gift from the heavens in the middle of the pandemic. I wanted to order a graphic novel because I was stuck in my buddy's house in Vegas, just losing my banana. And I'm like, oh, I'll get this comic. And then they give you an option on Amazon. You can spend like $8 and get it digitally. Then you could do like a monthly thing and get a bunch of free ones.
Right.
So that's how I started my day. And then one day they changed. They're like, hey, we just changed. This is better. You can't read anything. It's horrible. And if you just Google Comixology change, you'll see more hatred than people have towards Russia invading Ukraine, towards DeSantis, towards the Supreme Court now. It was some of the most unbelievable vile I've ever seen. It was like, how dare you? Now I can't finish Fables. You're a motherfucker. And I was one of them. And I might write an extra one after this.
Because I was trying to as we were getting the comic up there, I'm like, okay, well, wait, now it has to be under Kindle. So now it's, Long Ago Far Away is up, but it's under Kindle now instead of Comixology. You know, the Comixology, the platform that all the comics readers wanted to use? Yeah, that's...
So wait, is it still functioning or...
Barely.
It's rolled under to Kindle and Amazon now because Amazon bought Comixology years ago. And,
that's shocking. They bought a lot of stuff,
and is that weird?
That's so weird.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure out what to do with it.
Right.
So they're like, well, first we'll make sure it's not functional. That's the first thing they did. And then they ruined it.
You can't close up like pictures or the bubbles. So if you got 44-year-old eyes, you're like, what did that raccoon just say?
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. What do you think the similarities to comic strips, and stand-up? I think it is that a strip is like a bit. Don't you think? Like if you write...
They are, yeah.
Well, the strips were a joke. Was because a lot of them were 3 panels, right?
Right.
On the
and
weekdays.
That's a bit. That's a joke. Or is it one joke or is it
Yes, it was set up.
You're talking about like Sunday comics where it's like a couple.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, so that's that. And then you have, this is what I find fascinating. Satire in comic strips, like the Charlie Hebdo, which, I feel like that visual element of a comic strip and the fact that it's easier, like I think with animation too, like it's easier to talk about a subversive topic if the person's animated
It's smoother.
Right, or in
Absolutely.
a comic strip, but it's like it's visual and audio, even though it's not. I don't know. It's just like I feel like it is a genre of comedy. They're not all comic because there's graphic novels that are serious, like Mouse, but it's a skill I don't have. Like you have to, you have to think a certain way.
It's a visual, more of a visual medium, and like because I've done some directing. Like I saw the panels in comic strips as like almost like storyboards, and to put them together. But the one thing that's hard is comedy to do in those panels. It's actually easier to do action and drama and all those things.
But do you think it's easier to write a joke and tell it on stage than to put it in those panels?
You know what? No, I don't actually.
Oh, really?
I
So
think
it's more difficult.
Yeah. I think, and one of the things I tried to do is when I was translating and learning how to do comics as I was writing is putting in things like the stuff that we use in stand-up, like pregnant pauses, and the pacing. And to do that, you have to play around with the panels that have like maybe a deadpan panel or break up the dialogue,
right? Because it's all about the timing.
Yeah, to get that timing that you get on stage, that you
have
don't
to
have
do
in a
that
panel.
visually,
right? Mm-hmm.
It's and how did your book do? Is it doing great?
Yeah, it's doing well. We actually just re-released it. That's
a James Mattern.
Let's just keep it rolling.
Yeah.
repackage it.
Exactly. Keep going. Yeah, and it's people can get it on the website or on all digital like Drive-Through Comics. I almost said Comixology, Kindle.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Apple.
fix it. We're gonna make some deals in the next few days. I'm gonna get some real grip of money, and I'm buying that son of a bitch and changing it.
That would be great if someone could do it.
I want purpose in my life. Comedy in itself, I need more.
But I'll tell you guys, like, I'll send you copies.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, good. Now, you started doing stand-up in your late teens.
Yes.
At Temple?
When I was going to college, I was going to film school, and I was doing stand-up there and in local clubs. Yeah, but I started probably a couple of years before. I did like a comedy contest at a community college, and then I won. There was 3 people that did it, but and then I started kind of branching out from there. Like I would do stand-up as I would go to school.
You, James.
Yes, Judy.
You've been doing stand-up for 21 years, huh?
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
And you're 44.
44.
So you started when you were 23. And unlike Chris Mancini, you did not have an idyllic childhood in Pennsylvania.
Well, no. I grew up in Vegas.
I know. I'm
he
saying
was
unlike.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
on no sleep, Judy.
What the fuck?
I almost missed my flight, too. So this is
Why? Why did you almost miss your
Because I
flight?
overslept there. I got 3 hours of sleep when I'm supposed to get 2. It's another story.
Wait. What time was your flight this morning?
8:29. My
From
alarm.
JFK?
Yeah, my alarm went off at 5:49, but for some reason was silenced. And at 6:25, I woke up. And I don't know if you ever saw that episode of Larry Sanders where Hank misses his own restaurant opening. That's what it felt like. It's like, turn it back. Like, I was like, I'm not
I have
gonna
had
make
that
it.
happen where I've looked at the clock and been like, no, fuck.
No.
Have you ever had that?
Well, yeah, I was just thinking, did you take an extra hour to type stuff in about Comixology on Reddit? Is that kind of what
That's
happened?
what kept me up.
Yeah.
That's what caused the problem.
Wait, did you work last night?
I did work.
Yeah, because you're a mental case like me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't take a night off.
I know.
Yeah,
You'll
it's
learn how to
crazy.
do that when you get to be my age. And then you, what airline did you fly?
JetBlue.
From JFK?
Yes, which was even better than it was 3 weeks ago when I flew on it. It was just portals and good movies. I watched Good Will Hunting and cried like a child.
You did?
Just
You don't sleep on the plane?
I slept a little bit and then I started.
Were you in first class or mint?
I was the opposite of mint. I was in
Okay.
sour, whatever the fuck that would be. I was like hanging on the wing. Yeah, I slept for like an hour, and then I do like every week. I force myself to make a playlist because it makes me sharp. So I'm like a psychopath going, this song doesn't work here. This song will work. And then I decided to watch Good Will Hunting, and I'm probably 130 pounds now because I just tiered water weight. Just like
Now, was anyone sitting next to you?
There was a gap.
Matt
between
Damon
us.
sitting next to
Yeah, right.
Minnie Driver was there. She appreciated that I loved the scope of her acting still. There was a dude who seemed very nice, but then I found out that he lives in Staten Island. I'm like, oh, if he would have saw me crying, he would have called me a bitch.
Wait, there was the middle seat was not taken.
Thank whatever's up there. If there
Now,
is something. Yeah.
do you lean when you get on a plane?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, as someone who's been doing this since before both of you were born, how old are you?
53.
Okay, before James
I had
was
to
born.
check. That's the age I'm at. I have to think
You're
about
53.
Yeah.
You look good.
Good,
Thank
Bubba's.
you.
I'm 59. Okay. Anyway,
You look great.
You look great.
thanks. I'm sorry. Did I mention I was 59?
You're doing great.
Anyway, as comedians who travel, I am so fucking anal about. Okay, so I will book. I don't know if you do any of this. I book the flight. I then go on SeatGuru.com. Do you know this?
No.
I don't.
You put in. I've been doing this for 20 something years, or however long Seat Guru's been around. I can't believe I'm giving up this.
Wow.
This
Hack?
you go into Seat Guru, you put the name of the airline, the date, and the flight number, and it gives you a map of the plane, and it tells you details about every fucking seat. There's seats with a green. They're green. Those are the seats you want to sit in. There's yellow, which means beware, and there's red, which means don't fucking sit here. And I do that. I pick the flight. I go on SeatGuru. I can't believe I'm giving up my secret. I go on SeatGuru.com. I put in the flight number, and that's how I pick my seat. And it'll say something like, too many people are going to walk by you. There's half of a window, not a full window. You're right by the where they prepare the food. You're blah blah blah.
Oh my God.
This is 2 inches this way. This doesn't go. It has every.
So that's what makes it red. Stuff.
The red is like by the bathroom, or it's going to be loud. They make coffee back there. I mean, it's
like a scouting report.
It is, and I've been using that. I can't believe
This is amazing. C21C is a low ball hitter. You want to throw a lot of breaking change-ups. Yeah,
I can't believe you didn't. So seatguru.com.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that great?
How do they make money? Seatguru.com.
I don't know. And it also now, I think they also do. I think they do like stadiums and theaters, so if there's like a shitty pole in front of you.
No. I could have used that years ago when I got stuck behind a pole at Barclays for a hockey game because Barclays was not good. Was
it a ice hockey game?
Yeah, they were built for it.
No, it was a fucking field hockey game. What, Judy? What is wrong with you?
I'll go to a field hockey game.
Wait,
Judy. There's got to be a hot game around here.
Henry, my son Henry, he loves hockey.
Hockey.
He loves hockey, and which is interesting because none of us like ice hockey, but his donor. I looked up all this information about donor. Loved ice hockey.
Really?
Isn't that? Yes.
Wow.
And Henry's always taken ice hockey, and he's a really good skater. Anyway. So we went to a hockey game at wherever in New York.
The Garden?
Yes. And you can't even fucking see the puck. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They're all like cheering. I'm like, where's the fucking puck? You can't fucking see the puck.
Hockey's better live than on TV. I find it tougher to watch on TV. It's one of the things, we got hooked up with good seats years ago, second row, and one of the guys with us was a non-believer.
Even without Seat Guru?
Even without Seat
Shut
Guru.
up,
Just
Chris.
magic happened. And so one of my boys was talking shit about it. It's like, this is exciting. Can't see nothing. This is exciting. And he's just pontificating all this horse shit. And all of a sudden, a puck hits the glass inches from him. And he's like, oh, and I go, was that boring? Do you want to sleep now, dum-dum? Do you want to take a goddamn nap now? And it was like the second year of Vegas having a team, and it was a Vegas game, so I'm like pumped up and shit. And it's like, dude, this is boring. Blah, blah, blah. He's all yip-yapping, trying to change the world. It's like, bam.
Yeah, he got a karma puck.
Okay, here's another question I have about hockey. And I've discussed this Okay, the people we were talking about were the older guy with the hot woman.
Mm-hmm.
They just got changed and he has a fucking suitcase. So they just snuck into this hotel. Look at him.
Oh, this guy?
Yeah, look at this. They have luggage.
When walking up here, I loved seeing a dude in a fedora in the water. As a hat guy, bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo to him, his head, and his balls. God bless him.
Okay.
This guy's got like pants.
These people are just hired.
The
they're just hired by the hotel to go down there.
I just
They're not
don't
even
understand,
guests.
like who can sit at a pool for 3 hours? Like, I wish.
I might do this after at my hotel.
Yeah.
But
Where's your hotel?
I'm down. I screwed up totally. I should have used SeatGeek, Hotel Geek, or use your brains to where the venue and the action is for the festival. Geek. And I'm downtown at the Ace. And yeah.
Wait, you're in downtown LA?
Yeah, which walking around downtown LA, wonderful. Kind of fun. It's got a little edge to it. Oh, I took public transportation here. Oh my God.
What'd you take?
I took the Beeline. And guys,
it drops off right here.
Wait, you took the subway?
Guys, I will never bitch about the A train in New York City ever again. I've lived in New York 16 years. You ready? I've never seen this in the train. I was somewhat delayed getting here because a homeless guy got busted by the police because he was chasing the dragon. Just casually pulls out styrofoam, or what is it? With not styrofoam, but the tinfoil, and starts chasing the dragon like he's Harvey Keitel and Bad Lieutenant. Just starts smoking heroin in the middle of a train. I've never seen that in a decade and a half.
I thought the train was supposed to be nice here in LA.
I filmed a little bit of it. It is. Yeah. I said it to Chris and Emilio. I'm like, guys, this is unbelievable. This makes the G train look like the fucking Soho
That's
House.
crazy.
I mean, it's LA.
Insane.
So we ask anybody in LA, have you used the subway? And they'll always answer, oh, yeah, I used it once.
That's what the girl at the desk told me.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
one
it was
time I
supposed to
think.
be.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like the thing that was going to save LA.
Yep. Go all the way to the airport and back. It was supposed to be
Right.
this
It was
big
supposed
thing.
to be this whole thing. This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself, you can process, and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do, and you sit there and you wait, and then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome. James.
Judy.
Now, Chris has a boring life. He grew up with a younger brother, his Italian parents in Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Blah.
Bam
went
Margera.
Yeah, that's right.
Bam Margera.
Yeah.
Went to Temple University. Then
know who
moved
went
to
there.
LA. You grew up in Vegas.
Yes.
You were raised by your aunt and uncle. Is that correct?
Grandparents. Well, yeah,
Okay, same thing. This is stuff I got from Henry. So
I love
whatever.
this. Oh, this is good. Let's
Yeah,
break
I'm
this
going to
shit
tell
down.
you, this is what a woman my son Henry is.
Your research department, by the way,
No.
is fascinating.
Shut up.
It's Henry.
No, I
One of my
usually
boys.
do the research, and I asked Henry. I will call people and say who know and I'll say, tell me something, whatever. But I usually do it myself. But this is what Henry said. Okay, both parents absent.
Never met real dad. Mom is dead. Didn't have custody of me. Yeah, but she's been gone a minute. And she got. So I was wondering when I could tell you.
And by the way, he has a smile on his face.
Well, no, this is why I'm smiling because last night I did Bobby's podcast and somehow this caught on, and I had to leave to go host the 9:30, and then he was like, "You got to come back, dude. People asking questions. This is why." Yeah. There's some wild shit.
So why did your mother not have custody?
Well, everybody, it's time to. You remember what I was just talking about in the train? She did the other version of that. She had a heroin problem. Wasn't the best thing in the world. So my grandparents took custody of me after like 28 days.
So you were 28 days old?
28. I was named Norris Brent Fleming the second.
No way.
My I don't know this case.
Can I call you Norris?
I should have. It would have been a great
Norris
name.
Fleming.
Norris or
And
Norris
look
Brent.
Norris Brent.
Norris Brent. God.
What the
damn.
fuck kind of name is that?
So
That's that's a
Take a guess.
that's a sophisticated
That
name.
would be good in your fucking soap
Put it in
opera.
there.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Norris Brent Fleming.
So
Yeah,
this gentleman,
captain of industry.
Yeah. Well, this gentleman was a Creole fella from Louisiana. A black fella. I found this out at 21. That he's not my biological father, but he was going out with my mom at that point, and
Your mother was pregnant with someone else's baby, but at the time of your birth, she was with Creole.
Also, she did some business that wasn't legal in most parts of Nevada at that point. Yeah, she was a prostitute, so it's God only knows. Yeah.
And did you
Netflix is a joke festival, everybody. Let's get our laughs in, motherfucker.
Now, so do you remember her? What do you remember about her?
Well, she's been dead about 10 years.
Yeah.
She was kind of nuts. She had a few years where she put it together. And then,
How old were you for the put together years?
let's see. College, she was pretty much together. And then right when I was leaving was pretty all right. And then a few months in, the wheels on the bus came.
They were not going round and
They
round.
did not. They were flying all over the goddamn freeway.
Right.
Yeah, it was no bueno.
So how old were you when you realized your grandparents were not your parents?
I knew that early. My mom would come in and out, and she had a dude with her, this guy, Mike Weiss. I called him daddy. And
Wait, Jewish?
apparently, I didn't get any questions.
Wait, where's my bell?
Bell.
A goddamn
Ding, ding.
fucking bell. Where are you? Go ahead.
And then one day, my aunts are watching me during the day.
Yeah.
And I bring up my dad, and my Aunt Michelle and my Aunt Sherry pause, just
Yeah.
like that, right on a dime. And they looked at each other and then turned to me and goes, honey, that's not your real father. We don't know who your real father is. And then they walked out the room and left me with USA's Cartoon Express.
Yeah.
Think about like just dropping that bomb. It's like, yeah, now enjoy Grape Ape.
Dinner's at 6.
Yeah, dinner's at 6.
So
Long John Silver's your least favorite. It's going to be a real shitty day.
so you stayed with your grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
And you went to school, and you're an only child with your
That
grandparents.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so then did your grandparents have other children besides your mother?
Oh, a slew of them. And so there's a
slew of them?
bunch of them. My oldest uncle, him and his wife are like my parents now. So like Hendry was like Akron.
Hendry?
I always call him Hendry. Goodfellas, man. Come on, Chris gets that. Come on, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Hendry.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so they're like my parents now, but so I never lived with him, but I basically lived with all my aunts and uncles at a certain point. They were in and out. So it's kind of like a hybrid.
Did you feel
Yes.
loved?
I did feel love, but there was
Do you feel love
weirdness.
now?
here, absolutely. With
But
Judy,
but you're
the crew.
you're going to school and you're seeing all these people with quote unquote intact families.
Yeah.
Were you like, fuck, it's Mother's Day, fuck, it's fuck? Like, this is shit I had to deal with my kids because I'm a les.
Yeah, you know.
So
it's weird.
Yeah. And then also after 9/11, all these kids had no one parent dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so I hated those fucking things. But did you feel like, oh, fuck?
Not at all until now. I hate all holidays that aren't Halloween or the day after, which we don't even celebrate. Gringos, goddamn Day of the Dead. These are days those are days that are basically about death and nonsense. So it's good. I now because
Technically, All Souls Day.
All Souls Day,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful day. So now, let's see, I have basically, because I got close to my stepdad. He just died a couple years ago. So I have like 2 dead dads. I have 2 dead moms, basically. And then so I hate those days. I can't stand them. Most holidays I
and
hate
it's
because
just-
it reminds me who's not there.
And it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. So were you good in school?
Around 5th grade, I got my shit together. Till before then, I was just hair all over the place, conferences every 2 weeks, getting in
Did
fights.
you chew on your shirt like my kids did?
Oh my God.
Boys chew on their shirts.
Yes.
I chewed on toys.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
All these
My
Star
kid-
Wars.
It's very common for boys to chew on. I would pick them up at school. Their shirt was soaking fucking wet.
Yeah.
Did
and
you
it's
do that?
It's always in a pattern. Well, my son.
Yeah.
It's always in a pattern. And I'm like, oh, the first couple times, you're not really sure what's going on. Like, what did you spill? Or what have you
Right,
been drinking?
right,
And
right.
Then you catch him like in the corner of your eye,
Right.
like
And you're
half
like,
the shirt's
what
in
the
his mouth.
fuck? And
Yeah.
it's all like,
Is it nerves?
I don't
know. It's a boy
I don't know.
thing.
It is.
It's
It's
a boy
definitely a thing. Yeah. Never had that problem with our daughter.
okay. Now, both parents absent. Ask him about when he made comedy his full-time job and leaving the restaurant he worked at. But before we do that, I want to know, you're in this,
love all
were
this.
your grandparents, like, did they have regular jobs? Were they not drug addicts? Were they
They were.
like,
So, Grandpa owned a restaurant, and when he did that full time is when we went from middle class to poor. He was a legendary food and beverage guy in Vegas. He had a lot of falling outs with people, like Steve Wynn. So when I went and opened up for Chris at the Wynn, it really felt like I'm Idio Montoya. I'm here to avenge my grandfather, like that. But my pops was hard headed. He would have been in the mafia probably if he was full-blooded Italian, but he had the German blood, and so he ended up.
was he part German, part Italian?
Yeah, he was a
Now,
happy.
Chris Mancini is all Italian.
God bless.
Yeah.
What part of the boot?
northern Italy.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, around there, I think. And we have like some, there, like every once in a while I would get like an aunt or somebody talking, like, where did we really come from? And it spilled out every once in a while that there was someone who had to leave Italy in a hurry.
That is the Jews. First of all, the Jews' entire fucking existence is like, get the fuck out of here. We hate you. Bye now. And then we have to go. And then we get there. We stay there. We're like, oh, this is fun. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. So don't even start with me. Wait, let me ring my bell. Go ahead.
Hit it.
And it was about like oh, maybe we're descended from royalty, but then it was like, yeah, but it was more like a nanny that had to leave.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of
No,
thing.
that's even better.
Yeah.
I like that. Tell me about your family. We had to leave. Who left?
yeah.
So,
She was a nanny.
Yeah.
so how did your grandparents end up in Vegas? They're not from Vegas, right?
My grandma left after the war.
Where
Therefore,
was she from?
in Germany. And so
I gotta go because I'm Jewish, and this is so she left after the war. So yeah, I have some questions.
Well,
there.
the fighting. Like the first day that the country got bombed, she was like 9, 8. She was going to her grandma's, and she wanted to go to the movies, and she was really pissed, and she went to her grandma's, and the movie theater got bombed. And and then so her whole her teen
Did
years.
she have an accent?
A little bit, yeah.
James
No.
gets in here. No wonder your fucking mother was a prostitute and crack addict.
No, you would hear it when she get mad. All my boys to this day when they impersonate is like, God damn it, bullshit. Like she had that thick
Were
accent.
you scared of her?
No, but she'd give a look. My grandpa gave a look. You better.
Is he Italian?
Italian German? You better get the fuck out.
He's Italian
My
German
grandpa.
too?
Well, the grandpa. So the grandpa Italian German, the grandma German. And then dad.
That's really.
But the dad, the speculation before everyone was dead with any information was either a Jewish fella, they speculate, or a Mexican fella.
But you could get your DNA done and find out.
I didn't want to do it. I had an ex-girlfriend get it for me, and I didn't want to spit in the cup. This is going to sound bad now with the pandemic because I didn't want the government to have my DNA, even though I happily will get 8 more vaccines right now.
Right.
I don't give a shit. But like, I was like, I'm not going to spit in the cup, blah, blah, blah. And then,
Okay, I am going to say, let me get my bell out. As a Jew, I feel that you have some Jew blood in you,
It has to.
right?
And if there wasn't, like, if the right came back, they're not going to believe that my dad was from Monterey. Oh, no, he's from Mexico City. Yeah, they're not going to believe that shit.
Okay, so
I love your transition.
so your grandfather why did they move to Vegas? Where'd they move to Vegas from?
Rochester.
New York?
Yeah, America's
wow.
Playground. Yeah.
Right.
And then they went to Reno.
A lot of
door to Niagara
Italians in
Falls.
Rochester.
Absolutely full.
Right.
And the Italians apparently came to Canada, which was like
And then
Toronto.
they said, "Yeah, we're gonna go down to
Yes.
Rochester." Okay.
Yes.
And then they moved. Why did they move to Vegas?
Well, they went to Reno first.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, all these winters. And then just, the casino business. Because, once again, Pops never told me, but he was like shooting dice in the street, he told me that part. But when you're not full-blooded Italian, you can't join the mafia. But you can run their casino.
Chris knows that. He nodded his head.
Yeah,
They changed the rule now.
It's a little different now, but back then it was very traditional.
Yeah, they wanted to trace your roots because they felt that.
But there were Jewish guys in the mob.
But they could never
were
be
the
members.
accountants. Oh, okay.
No, but there were some guys who would have run, like that guy in The Sopranos is based on a real dude. He would've-
Consigliere.
Yeah, in a
Right.
way, yeah. They can't officially be that, but yes, in a sense.
Okay.
It's
I love that I'm
it's
breaking down the mafia in the middle
Yeah.
of this.
Okay.
It's
At
like-
the W Hotel.
It's like Rudy. Rudy couldn't really be on the team, but he was still a part of the team.
He
Right.
can get that one sack.
Okay. So they moved to Vegas, and with your mother,
Ma was born in Reno, but yeah. Oh, no, she was born in Rochester. And then, she's the only
then they
one
moved to Reno. So she grew up in Vegas.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this
Oh, yeah.
before it was like suburbanized.
In the same house
Because
I
now
grew up in.
there's really.
And there was like lizards. When I was a kid, there was lizards and shit. And then like,
Okay, so you grew up were you in her room?
I ended up getting her room. I'm the only person in there that had every room but the main room. Like I bounced around everywhere, like as I was growing up. Yeah.
But
I had her room at one point, and then she moved in at one point when I left and took my room. So that's the weird. If you want to know how fucked up I am,
How old was your mother when she had you?
20.
Wow,
It's young.
that's young.
Yeah. She's a baby.
And so, okay, so 5th grade, you have this change of heart, and you're like, I'm gonna do well in school?
Yeah, I don't know
or-
what clicked. Maybe there's a cool teacher, but I
It's
started
the
getting it
Jew in
together.
you.
God bless.
It was the Jew in you.
Dang it.
Okay.
Being the bell.
Okay. And then you go to high school.
Yeah.
What are you into in high school? Or are you into Dungeons and Dragons?
Never.
Like Chris Mancini.
This kid was going to
Sorry.
pick me up in 10th grade. He was a cool senior, and he never showed up. And I never got into goddamn Dungeons and Dragons. It's probably a blessing. I was into sports heavy early.
Like
Got
what
cut from-
sports?
Basketball was my passion. I got cut from the team 9th and 10th grade.
Fuck that.
But I got into, I wasn't good. I couldn't dribble. And then I ended up doing theater. And so that worked out for me. And then I got into like music and that. And I grew my hair out when I had hair. And was trying to be cool. And was forming bands and shit. And then I got back kind of into sports. But yeah, I was into like, oh, look at that rock dude who acts. And
Right.
my
Did
acting's
you?
horrible.
Now, were you smoking pot? and-
Never. Because of all, so my aunts and uncles would babysit me. And I like, pot's not a big deal, but I remember them babysitting me and getting high, hanging on the couch. And I'm like, hey, do you want to do this? They're like, no, we want to rest. They'd rest for like the 7 of
Right,
the 8 hours.
right,
And I'm
right.
stuck reading the same fucking Power Pack
Right.
comic book. I didn't even like fucking Power Pack because they change their powers every 3 weeks. And I feel bad because I know weed ain't nothing, but like when my old roommates would smoke, they thought I was judging them. I'm like, no, I'm not judging you. It's cool, but I smell it. You smell it. You think of like fun. I smell neglect. That just reminds me of
Right.
neglect. So it's like, so I never did it.
Okay. Which I
didn't do
love.
it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless.
But-
Look at
I'm
us.
stoned right now. I'm not.
Yeah.
I did
They'll
it.
probably
I
pour some
loved
down
it.
there. I'll tell you
But-
that.
I know. Well,
Surrounded by it though. all
Well,
the
you know,
time. Yeah.
it's now legal. You walk down the street in New York, all
Yes.
you do is smell marijuana.
Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of the very special Netflix is a Joke episode of Kill Me Now with comedians Chris Mancini and James Mattern. Kill Me Now is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling. This podcast would not be possible without the help of Brittany Jo Sowards, my beloved assistant. Also, I'd like to thank all the people who recorded this from SiriusXM. I forgot their names, but I love you. They were really nice. Also, if you enjoy my show and you haven't subscribed and left a review, like, what is the point? I need you. I need you. So please do that. 5 stars only. I think my Uber rating is going up because I am so nice to the Uber drivers. I'm going to check it and I'll have an update for you next week on what my my Lyft rating is great. I don't know why the Lyft drivers like me. I'm going to go, as my mother would say, anti-Semitic in the Uber. Also, I just wanted to tell you, please go to judygold.com because I have a lot of dates coming up. I am going to Israel to watch my son play basketball. If I had the bell right next to me right now, I would be ringing it. Ding, 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 ding. I might have to go get it. No, I don't feel like it. If you haven't purchased my book, yes, I can say that when they come for the comedians, we're all in trouble. What is wrong with you? It is such a great book. And it's summer, and you sit at the beach and you read, and you can laugh at read. You know what I'm saying? Also, please buy James Mattern's album. It's coming out this week. Check out Chris Mancini, author. Check out my guests, because they're really interesting and they're fun. Oh, Twitter, Instagram. I'm doing more TikToks. Everyone calm down. I'm going to do more shooting the shits. I just haven't had time. And it's at Judy Gold, JEWDYGOLD. Also, enjoying immensely the January 6th hearings. Because the truth will set you free. Hopefully. Please, God. What else do I have to tell you? I'm all better from COVID. Please be careful. It's not fun. I don't know what else to tell you. Wear sunscreen. That's my tip for the week. Wear sunscreen. And, be kind. And rewind. Who remembers that? Be kind, rewind. Only the old people. Also, thank you, whoever's listening to the end. Thank you. I love you more than anything. Please come see me perform. I like an audience. And I love you. I love you all for listening. And see, I do have a lot of phlegm. And it could be because of my dairy intake, or it could be leftover COVID. I am blaming it on COVID because I love cheese. So, sorry. And I know that's probably what it's from. And I enjoy my Raisin Bran in the morning. But, I can't live without things that I love. Also, I did do a sleep clinic sleepover thing. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to let you know at the end of the next episode what the results were, if I have them. If not, you'll have to wait a week. But anyway, I love you all. Thank you for listening. And as we always say, so long.